February 26th, 2022. So now I'm a little confused. I'm watching the evening news that I taped. It has a different announcer this evening, but it's ABC, and it talks about cyber threats. Now here's the thing. It's talking about Russia with Putin. It's talking about Ukraine. And then all of a sudden, it goes into the U.S. defense. Now, what's interesting is what the U.S. built and who's employed there and who's on the story, which matches the same relative problem I have within the UN, which just came to light because they're finally whatever. And now they have this mock being M-O-C-K, not M-A-C-H, like mini village, and that some computer funded IPO, and I don't know how this crap keeps getting enhanced and you keep employing these operatives. They put together this entire facility to purposely strike towns and learn how to strike towns and villages through the cyber network, and then shut down entire cities. All under this U.S. label. I'm just curious who the participants were that thought that this was just a lovely idea. Meanwhile, same people in North America are complaining and telling a story about how they were enslaved somehow. I'm not buying a single word of it. I'm just not.
Look inside NSA efforts to combat potential cyber attacks.
With the Ukraine crisis escalating tonight, the threat of all-out cyber war perhaps has never been greater.
If Russia pursues cyber attacks against our companies, our critical infrastructure.
Now here's the thing. It said earlier in this broadcast that the Russian tanks got to Ukraine and they heard somebody go over the radio that they didn't know who to shoot because the people that were supposedly Ukrainian looked exactly like what is calling itself Russian. I don't seem to suffer from that problem in North America. There seems to be very little of me and a lot of something else, and I don't know how that happened.
We are prepared to respond.
The Kremlin has an army of hackers at its disposal.
We've seen from past Russian cyber attacks, or at least operations launched out of Russian soil, that they can have an impact on either critical infrastructure here.
Why is the cyber conversation so large and so inclusive? I just don't understand this.
Or different industries.
But the U.S. has far-reaching capabilities of its own.
Welcome to Dreamport. This is one of two labs.
One of two labs that they have, and they call it Dreamport. D-R-E-A-M-P-O-R-T.
Two labs.
This is the Dreamport facility, developed by the U.S. Cyber Command, along with the private sector and partners in academia.
I want to know which parts of academia are funding this crap and what part of the U.S. because, I mean, I've been paying tax dollars for North American security. I just don't understand how I was blocked from knowing any of this stuff and from being able to afford myself while all of this is being developed, which when you develop something this insidious, it only leads to further damage and war and total annihilation. I look outside tonight. I went for a walk. I spoke to a neighbor, just so I know I'm not crazy. I don't see a moon. I made the neighbor come, well, I didn't make him. I just asked him nicely to go look for the moon. And he couldn't find a moon. He says, maybe it's just and I'm like, no, I thought the wrong angle at first myself. I was like, but it's always in that spot, somewhere in that part of the sky, and now it's totally gone.
To foster innovation in hacking defense and offense.
All of the devices that power this model city are real, actual devices that you would find out in the real world.
This miniature city used to practice real-world attacks.
This young hacker is about to take out power to an entire city.
Dreamport hackers turned off the city's lights, caused a water park to flood, disrupted traffic lights, and brought the city's port to a halt.
All from one computer. Whose idea was it to give everybody and push everybody into some remote learning? Just curious.
This is not science fiction. This is involving activities and maneuvers that hackers can actually do to disrupt our daily lives.
Absolutely. The future's now. We're not dealing in something that's 50 years away. The idea here is to model the behavior of disruptive cyber attacks against critical infrastructure, understand how they work, understand the resilience, how to defend against it. And again, you can't protect what you don't understand.
Homeland.
Now, here's what I understand. Why do you need such an extensive, and not one, but two, of these laboratories? You're just educating people inside of a science field that does not need to be further developed. It is cause for major concern.
Homeland Security's bottom line, protecting against cyber attacks is no longer optional. It could be about the survival of your business. Whit?
All right.
Business? It's more than just business.
All right, Pierre Thomas for us. Thank you. We turn now to a somber anniversary, 10 years since the President Zelensky's citizen soldiers holding back Vladimir Putin's army. Tonight, a senior U.S. official saying Russian forces are disoriented, overhearing a Russian soldier on a radio call saying, "We don't know who to shoot. They all look like us." And the desperate scenes as more than 150,000 Ukrainians flee Russia's brutal advance, triggering a new refugee crisis in Europe. Our Matt Gutman at Ukraine's busiest crossing, fathers kissing their children goodbye as they stay to fight, unsure when or if they will see each other again. And that breaking news from moments ago, multiple countries, including the U.S., UK, and EU, agreeing to disconnect some Russian banks from a key global financial system. Our team tonight reporting from Ukraine, Poland, and with the latest news from the White House. Also tonight, as the crisis escalates, we go inside the special facility used to test U.S. preparedness for a cyber attack. Pierre Thomas with the new warnings, how Homeland Security is telling companies to prepare for potential attacks on their networks.
I don't see myself represented on the U.S. side at all. I just don't. Everything, these advertisements or these educational pieces, it is almost as though they have just wiped my relatives or my tribe off of the map completely. I don't understand how that was accomplished and why there's been no communication of it. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.